I'm glad to talk to you. It's weird because every once in a
Yeah.
while because I'm one of the few people that actually puts my phone number out there.
Yeah.
Someone will try to get a hold of Jaren, and so when you called and said, and I'm sorry, where are you calling from again?
From the Netherlands
The
in Europe?
Netherlands.
Yeah, it's just near Germany.
Oh no, I know where it is.
Oh,
I no, it's
okay.
okay. But when the I just didn't recognize the country prefix. So and then I got your email, and let me just hang on to it. So let me just read this real quick. Do you have a way of contacting him? And yeah, I did. In fact, Bob just sent me his phone number. But every once in a while, Jaron will miss stuff. I don't. He's really, really busy. But
Yeah,
how
I
long ago
got
did he
it.
schedule this with you?
I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and for last Thursday, so I was all pumped and I said, "Well, I'm going to talk to Jaren," and then he didn't call, so I was so frustrated. But
It
and then
happens. Go ahead.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
no, and then I thought, well, he's just busy, so I sent him an email that he probably forgot, and he didn't respond to that. So I thought, well, he's just busy, because I also saw that the Ghostbusters, they didn't put out a show because it said that they were off for a week or so. So I thought, well, he might have some sort of vacation or something. So
Yeah, that could have been it.
yeah,
So let me read this real quick because
yeah.
because I'm recording this. I figured why the heck not, right? So I had a discussion in the cockpit with two colleagues. One was the captain in training, and the other was the instructor, me the co-pilot, in March of this year, which would be 2017. It got unpleasant, actually nasty, and I decided to go to the company doctor, and I basically said that it was not possible for me to fly anymore, knowing the Earth is flat while nobody else knows or wants to know. They even get violent when you want a discussion about our gyroscopes, etc. Not really
Yeah.
sure of what will happen next. I live in the Netherlands, where flat Earth is not really known, just by a few people. I get lonely because of that. Anyway, if I could be of help, kind regards, Lydia.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you mind me? Is it okay if I say your full name?
Yeah, sure.
And it's Lydia. Oh boy, and I don't know if I can pronounce this. Ouwersloot, which is pronounced
Yeah.
as
Our slot.
our slot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds
Like the
very
oh, you probably you want to say it like ooh, but you just have to figure it's
ow.
OA, like boat, our sloat.
Our slot. So Lydia our
Yeah.
slot from the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and I will try not to slip into any sort of fake American Netherland accent.
Doesn't
Uh,
really matter.
how? Because you know how we do it, and it's just ridiculous. Um, because there's a lot of Northern European people that settled in the northern part of the United States. If you did not know,
Oh, okay.
up in
No idea.
Wisconsin and
Oh,
Minnesota.
yeah. Yeah, like the farms and everything, right?
Yeah. My family's actually there, or was there for a number of years, from Germany. So, and
Oh,
there's a
okay.
lot of German settlers went up to. I don't know why. It's the coldest place in the United States, the Minnesota and
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
probably we're used to it. I don't
I guess it's like, oh yeah, let's go up where it's cold, and it's, winters are horrible. So
know.
tell me a little bit about how. Okay, let's start from the beginning. How did
Yeah.
you first get into flat Earth? How did you first start looking into it?
Yeah, well, actually, I was just since 2003,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking into the vaccine business,
Mm-hmm.
because my son, he's now 13. He got very ill from the vaccination,
Ooh.
and yeah, that was really bad. He had a how do you call that? Brain
Oh yeah, like a.
injury.
Yep, sure.
So that's how I got, onto the internet
Mm-hmm.
at 2003, and I was reading about a lot, and yeah, figuring things out, and then I got into all the conspiracies,
Yep.
and I also I'm busy on Pinterest. You know that?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. And there I saw this thing on, and it was actually with a gyroscope.
Sure.
So, of course, that appealed to me because I thought, well, we work with gyroscopes, a flat Earth. What is this?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was not, discarding it right away because of, well, I have a very open mind to everything. So I thought, well, just read and read and read and read and watch a lot of videos after that, and then. Yeah, I didn't know anything about, I always thought Einstein was a genius and
Sure.
And yeah, so that's what I always thought. And
so how long, just because I have to ask a couple follow-up questions, how long have you been in the airline industry?
Actually, I got my license in '91.
Wow, long time.
So yeah. So I've been with the company that I'm at now, which is actually the best in Holland. There are not so many, but
right.
They're a very good company, and I'm with them for 22 years now.
Wow. So 20. So okay. Just to recap here real quick. So you got into conspiracies because your son got a vaccination and suffered some brain injury because of it.
Yep.
And then started going down conspiracies, saw a couple things that had to do with flat Earth and gyroscopes, and thought, this is sort of interesting. Yeah. So did you start poking around inside your company? Did you
yes,
were there
that's what I did.
Friends of yours?
Yeah, so I was just, because, there are lots of things that we are taught about, the spinning Earth.
Mm-hmm. And
I told to my colleagues, because, of course, you think about it, but then you just discard it, about how it is possible that the atmosphere spins with the globe. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, that might be gravity. And then it says, well, then you have to, it has to spin faster at a higher altitude because there's no gradual how do you say that difference?
Right.
So I thought, well, that's kind of strange, and also the speed at which the Earth should spin around the equator. I thought, well, that's almost the speed of sound, so that's kind of strange. And then also when you fly, let's say, from Johannesburg to Amsterdam, mm-hmm. We don't have to account for the difference, and also not because it spins then at a different rate.
Sure.
And it doesn't also, we don't also have to account for the difference in altitude that it spins. So
yeah.
I thought, this is so strange. And now, actually, I told the other day to a stewardess, because she has an open mind, and now I have to work on the ground. I said, well, actually, I'm a little bit ashamed of, believing all this shit, and I should have, questioned before, because my IQ isn't actually good enough to, question how does a gyroscope work actually, because it does not, measure the gravity.
Sure.
So,
but
yeah.
And I got to interrupt here for a second. Don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, you got to remember that we're living in a time now where most people don't know anything about technology. I mean, forget about how your phone works that you're holding in your hand, if that's what you're using to talk to me. Forget about that. Yeah. Look at old technology like, I don't know, microwave ovens. The average person on the street, I mean, like 90% of them don't even know how those things operate. And
no, me neither.
we've been using those to cook our food since the 70s. So don't feel, I mean, gyroscopes, look, everybody in the flat Earth community, and I'll let you go on here in a second, everybody in the flat Earth community has had to relearn a lot of scientific premises just so we could catch up and then tear it down. And gyroscopes is one of them. Actually, gyroscopes helped us a whole bunch. I didn't know how gyroscopes. I mean, we've seen them, of course, and we we spin things around and we kind of get the feel for them. But how they relate to the Earth spinning? Oh yeah, most people don't know. So anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
continue,
Yeah.
please. So you were looking into the gyroscopes, and then what?
Yeah, and then of course when I also saw the movies from Eric Dubé
Yep.
about the rising horizon,
Yep. Yep.
and I thought, well, yeah, that's true, and we do fly at 40,000 feet, 41,000 feet sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and of course I've been. This is now almost a year going on that I was, that I started looking for the curve, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course I couldn't find it, and I saw the horizon, rising with us, and it was flat wherever I looked, and I thought, well, shit, why did I, didn't see this before? And then I started questioning in the cockpit, do you know that the atmosphere spins at the same speed as the speed of sound at the equator? And then I get this strange look on their faces, whenever I would ask something like that. But it bothered me so much that I thought, well, this has to, go
Sure.
out there, and I thought, well, you can just discuss these things, but obviously not. So
Yeah. So when you started questioning with, I mean, and I appreciate the fact that you were bold enough to talk to your co-pilots and the other people that are out there and see what's going on. Did anyone respond favorably at all, or did everybody just look at you like you had a bug on your face?
yeah, that's the last thing. Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's just the way it is, and that's why it went nasty the last time, because then we were with the three in a cockpit. I'm the co-pilot, actually. I should have been a captain, I know, but I'm just a mom, and that's what I prefer to do. So we don't get pressed to go to be captain. So
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy it. I only work 50%, so I have time enough to raise my own children.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I'm still a co-pilot. But we were with the three of us in the cockpit, and the captain, he was in training, and the instructor was on the jump seat. And we had a night stop in Zurich, and the last day that we actually flew from Zurich to Amsterdam, they said, well, did you actually mean those things that you said about flat Earth and everything? I said, yes, I do. And they say, well, we think you are retarded. And
They didn't actually say
Yeah.
that, did they?
yeah, they did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you are, how do you call that?
Grounded?
Labiel. I don't know what that is in English, actually, but it's like you are mentally unstable.
Oh no, that's
Something like that.
pretty. Yeah. So you're kind
Yeah.
of So who said this to you?
That actually said the instructor said that to me. He said, well,
Really?
actually, yeah, because I did not go out to dinner with them because I could already, sense that there was no match between the three of us.
Right.
So I did not go out with dinner with them at the night stop. And he said, well, we had a discussion between the two of us about you, and we think you are, retarded, but then the Dutch word for that, and mentally unstable. So I said, well, if you think like that, and we only had like 20 minutes left or so,
Mm-hmm.
I suggest that you come sit in my seat, because I knew he was, an instructor, and he could sit in both seats, because you're, as an instructor, you need to be able to, sit in both seats.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, you better sit here, because I'm not going to fly any longer with you guys.
Really?
Yeah. I said, and I'm also not leaving this cockpit, because I think it's not fair that the two of you have a discussion behind my back. I mean, how low can you go?
Okay, so I want to break this down for whoever might be listening to this. Okay, so you're flying from where to where?
From Zurich to Amsterdam.
Zurich to Amsterdam, and you were bringing up the topic, and the other two pilots that are in the cockpit, And I know how it goes. I've known some pilots to where normally when you land, whoever is the team goes out for dinner, and sometimes the cabin crew or the flight attendants sometimes they come along too. It's like, let's go out for dinner, but you could tell already that these guys were not having any of that, and so you basically gave up your co-pilot seat and said, you know what, you can fly the plane. At this point, and he sat there, and you you just sat in the other seat, and everyone just shut up. Nobody said.
I sat in the jump seat. Yeah, and everybody was quiet.
So what happened? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they landed, and I sat in the jump seat, and I said, well, you know, guys, we really get a lot of training with our company about how to communicate amongst each other, because lots of errors happen when the communication in the cockpit is not working out. So we get a lot of training about that. I said, well, guys, all the things that we discussed yesterday, because I don't know how the topic came up, but we discussed about those trainings, about the things we shouldn't do. You both did. Like, we call that OMA. The O is for oordelen, that is to judge. The M is for mening, that's opinion, to have an opinion. And A is for aanname, and that means to assume. So I said, well, those things you both did without even questioning me. You just, you know.
Their natural reaction was to think it's like, she's stupid. So, you know, flat Earth is ridiculous, so we're going to judge you right here and right now.
Yeah. So I did not even have, you did not even ask me one question. Like, I mean, I was educated the way you were. I mean, and that's what I told him. I said, well, I'm probably smarter than the both of you together, because I probably am.
Could be.
But that's a little bit,
I know.
How do you call it? Yeah, whatever. But
a little egotistical, but that's okay.
I was mad also, of course.
Yeah.
So I said, but you could have asked me, well, Lydia, how do you come to such a strange viewpoint or whatever? You could have asked me some question instead of just throwing me out. And well, the instructor said, well, I'm sorry about that. And actually, he got tears in his eyes, so I was a little moved by that, because I thought, well, yeah, okay. I came on quite strong, actually, because, well, I was mad, of course. And he also was relieved, because I said, well, when I stepped out of my seat, I said, well, I will see you in the office, I guess, because I assume, because we have to write about these things, if things like this happen. I thought, well, he's an instructor, he's going to write about this. So I thought, well, I will see you in the office, I guess. Yeah, that's the most natural thing for me to assume. And then afterwards, when we landed, he said, well, are you going to write about this? I said, well, I am not. I mean...
And when you mean write about it, you mean our term would be like filing a report.
Yeah. Okay. File a report.
So at this point, you're thinking of filing a report against your co-pilots, your fellow pilots for.
Well, he thought I was going to do that, because that's what I said when I stepped out of my seat earlier. I said, well, I think I'm going to see you then in the office.
Yeah.
Because I assumed, because he's the instructor, that he would, he was the one who was, trashing me. So I thought, well, he will probably write about it. So after the landing, I said, well, he asked, he was scared. He said, are you going to write about it? I said, well, no, I'm not going to write about it, but I'm going to go straight to the doctor's office from the company, and I'm going to ask for some support in this. So he was really relieved. He said, well, I'm not going to write about it either. I said, well, do whatever you please.
So both of you mutually agreed not to file a report on each other about an argument that had to do with flat Earth. Probably a good thing at the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
but then your follow-up was, and just so I can, because I'm reading your email here, you went to the company physician, the company doctor, and you have more or less did you request to them? You said, look, I don't think I should fly anymore because I don't believe the Earth is a globe.
Well, actually, I called in sick.
Okay.
And I made an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the doctor because I thought, well, I have all the evidence there is. So what's... Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're medically insane. You're just going to, but who else could you go to? Because I don't imagine you have a company psychiatrist, which is what most people would recommend. Or do you?
He said he didn't even, because I started to explain to him how I got to the point of thinking flat Earth, because, it needs a little bit of an introduction, I guess.
Oh, yeah, you can't just come out and say it because they won't even understand. It'd be like,
no.
You mean like metaphorically, or what are we talking about here? So you explained to him your belief system and why you think the Earth is flat, and his response, I'm sorry, his or her? His response was?
Okay, Lydia, I'm going to send you to the psychiatrist.
Yep, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I will hold your medical license, and you cannot fly for now. So have you now? Did you So I'm just want to get the terms right here. Technically, are you still working for the company? Yeah.
Okay. Have you been? You haven't been suspended without pay or anything like that?
No. That's not the thing they would would
do. But did you request that you didn't want to fly anymore, or did they say you shouldn't fly anymore? And I mean, obviously, you're not flying at the moment.
No, I said I cannot fly at this moment because I'm tired of all the lying.
Okay.
And I'm just exhausted, and I'm, I feel humiliated and everything, and I think we should look into this. I mean, I'm
and when was this? When was it?
All in this, but they just don't. They're not open-minded.
Oh,
people.
Hey, look, pilots it's a tough. I mean, I've talked to a handful of pilots already, but this is got to be one of my favorite stories because, well, and sorry, I got to back up a little bit. When did this happen?
This happened in March.
Okay, this happened in March. And did you after that? Did you see a psychiatrist? The company psychiatrist?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
they made me. So I went. I had to go 2 times.
Okay.
And the first time, the psychiatrist explained that I had a right, a recht van aanhouden, and that means that you don't. You get the last say in whether the report goes to your company or not.
Oh, I got it. You get the closing remarks. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can say, okay, you can send I can read the report, and if I'm not,
happy with it?
Yeah, happy with it. Then I can say, well, no, don't send it.
Oh, really? That's way more flexible than what we have over here. Seriously, a psychiatrist could literally put you in a jacket and lock you in a room, and you wouldn't have much of an opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, so go ahead.
So I sat there, and I want to, explain a little bit how I came where I am, and he was not interested. He said, well, no, I don't want to hear all those things. I just want you because, with my son and everything, it's kind of a long story, but, I wanted to explain to him how I got where I am, and he just was not interested. He said, no, I want to hear you about the flat Earth. And I said, well, because I brought all the books and, all my iPad with every thing I I found is about 4,000.
Oh my lord! So you were actually going to try to convince the psychiatrist that the Earth was flat?
Well, yeah, I know. A
That's
friend
a
of
little-
mine. He's a coach. He said, "Well, Lydia, you are being a little bit naive in trying to convince this guy."
Even well, not
You know,
not
it-
not naive, but you got to remember that as a psychiatric professional, there is no way that even if they wanted to, even if they believed you, there's no way they could nod their head and say, "Oh, right, you're absolutely true. It's true, Lydia. It's absolutely true." There's no way they can, because once they did that, if that got out, their career would be over. I mean, they would literally be ostracized by their peer groups, and so. But anyway, so you tried
but
anyway.
I'm choosing that path. So I think, well, why aren't men a little bit more courageous? I think I'm always more courageous than everybody I meet. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand. But
That's okay.
I mean, yeah. Maybe I'm not that, I mean, I just moved to a real nice house and everything, and I thought, well, I might have to say goodbye to this within a year because I don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But okay, I'm fine with that. I mean, who cares?
You are a
I'll find a place to live.
brave person, Lydia. There's a lot of people that wouldn't have. But at the same time, you're in a unique position because pilots, they deal with that perspective all the time. Most pilots, just so I can give you a little background here, most pilots don't know what to do with the information even when they get it because of their conditioning. So yeah, when you're in the cockpit at 40,000 feet, you see a flat horizon, and you see it every single day you fly. But since you are taught, since you were a child, that it's a globe, there's this weird conflict that happens. It's like, well, it's a globe because I'm told it's a globe, but I only see flat. So you know what? I'm just going to land the plane and try to live my life as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Most pilots I've heard are just too busy, to be honest, with all the different checks they have to do. And I know there's big sections of it where you're really, really bored because the plane can fly itself. But still, so you went to the psychiatrist a couple times. Did you like the report he wrote, or did you not?
Well, the second time that I went, he said, "Well, Lydia, you don't even have to start talking because I'm not interested. I think you know where this is going." I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Well, I will. I think it's called delusional or something like that in English. We have another name for that in Dutch." So I said, "Well, okay." I said, "You didn't even have a glance at anything I'm here for," and nope.
Nope.
He said, "Well, nope. I am aware of conspiracy theories," he said. And he said that chuckling, so he was laughing. And I thought, okay, well, whatever. So I was actually pissed. And I went home. And while I was in the train, because it was a train ride of about 2 hours, I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna even wait for the report, because what's going to be in there? Nothing that I need to know.
Right.
So I emailed him right away when I got home. I said, "Well, dear Mr. Huppeldepup, I don't need your report. Don't even bother writing it, because I'm gonna,
You're gonna veto it, basically. You're gonna say, you know what, I don't care whatever you say, I'm not gonna like it. So, and again, I'm amazed that the Netherlands has that sort of flexibility where it's like where the individual can actually override the doctor's report. That's stunning. That's really but it worked out for you. So you said, okay, so then what? So you go back to work? So at that point?
No, because they have my medical license, on hold or whatever.
So technically, you're on medical. We call it medical leave. So you're currently, at that time, you were on the ground, not getting up in a plane again because they said there's a medical issue.
Yeah, correct. Okay. That's still the case, and now I'm working on the ground because they say, well, okay, you cannot go into the cockpit, but I think you can do some other work. you should not. Can you just cut that one out because I don't want the company name.
Got it. I will not say your company name. I'll cut that little part out.
Yeah.
Okay. But what? So they benched you. We call it benching it or grounding you. So they grounded you, but they didn't want to fire you because you were too valuable, because you've been doing the airline industry things for the last 20 something years.
Yeah, that's not the way they go about. They just don't fire you like that. I mean,
right. So does it take
they will help me find some other profession about that.
Yeah, you're not. By the way, don't keep saying that name, or I'll,
oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
So,
No.
That's all right. I mean, anyway, so they in the Netherlands, just so I'm sure about this, and I've seen this in different corporations in the United States, usually the big ones. They don't like firing people because it's a pain for HR. The HR department doesn't like human resources, doesn't like dealing with it, so they'll shuffle you off to a different department. So now you haven't flown since March.
Correct.
Do you have any anticipation that you will be flying?
I don't think so.
Now, is that a voluntary thing? Have you been pushing it, or are you like happy with your desk job and you're like, I'll just take the desk job for now?
Well, I am currently, because they allowed me to look for a job that, fits my, let's say, needs at this moment. So I found a job where I can meet all kinds of people, but colleagues, and they asked me, why are you not flying? So now I have an opportunity to say, well, I have different beliefs than most people, So actually, I'm figuring things out, and actually, I want to wear T-shirts, with flat earth on it, and just to go to my ground job and spread the word. Just spread the word.
You are one of the bravest people I have ever met. I mean that. That's amazing. So now, because you're grounded, you're now doing the ground jobs in the airline industry. People ask you, because once they figure out who you are, it's like, wait, why aren't you flying? You tell them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm not flying because of, and you probably describe what's happened to you over the last 6 months.
Well, I've just started like 4 weeks ago. So, and I only have to come in 2 times a week because I work 50%, so I don't have to go there very often.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to meet my colleagues there, and get to know them. But I just started this. Yeah. So the last time I was there, I said that I believed that, and that the moon landings were fake. And actually, there are 2 other pilots also, which have some issue why they have to work on the ground because there's something medical, and they laughed at me.
Oh, I can imagine they would laugh at you.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to ask you some pointed questions here. Like, one, if all of a sudden they came back and they were desperate and they needed a pilot, would you jump back in, or is this something it's like, yeah, you know what, it doesn't really mean much to me anymore?
No, it actually didn't mean a lot to me anymore already for a couple of years, and that had to do with also the fact that I'm a woman in a man's world, and
got it.
Yeah, sometimes you just think, well, I'm really open-minded. I mean, that's why I got into this in the first place. But also, when you are working with people who are totally not, there is hardly any connection,
right?
And I miss that. So I actually have more fun with the stewardesses when we are somewhere
nice.
than with my colleagues in the cockpit. So
nice.
Yeah, so I don't really miss it. The other day it was really windy. I thought, well, now I miss it because, then you can practice your skills a little bit and do some real flying, and that's the part that I miss. But the whole life around it, I don't miss. No.
So I wait a minute. So do pilots secretly like bad weather, or is this just you? Because I knew a bus driver. I knew a woman bus driver who absolutely loved, when I was living in Denver, who absolutely loved the snow because it was the only chance she could show off her driving skills, because she could actually drive really, really well in the snow. Are you saying, even though all passengers hate bad weather, that you as a pilot loved bad weather? Because wind scares the hell out of people, just so you know.
I know.
But you thought it was fine because
when it's not too bad, yeah.
Because
we do like that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What part? The landing on a windy runway type thing?
Yeah. That's
oh
correct.
my god.
Yeah.
because it's a challenge. You were just bored. It's like, oh come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Normal landings are so boring that pilots just kind of hope for something, like an icy runway. Hey, is there some ice on the wings?
No ice. No.
No, not ice, but wind.
That's so tricky. The wind is okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't deliberately try to fly through some dark clouds or anything.
No, it's not like that. It's not like courageous in that way. No, that's not the way to go. No. We're very careful. I'm a very careful person. My children always say, "Well, Mom, you drive like a snail. Come on, hit the gas." So no, I'm really a slow person.
All right. But every once in a while, but you don't like boring stuff. You don't like the same old stuff.
No.
So yeah, I can see that. So when you see like a 20-mile-an-hour crosswind coming in on the runway, you're like, ooh, yeah, buckle up. This is going to be fun.
20 is nice. Yeah.
Even
anything.
Yeah, even though the passengers behind you, are gripping their seats so tight that they have, they practically break their own fingers. I'm sorry, I did a lot of business travel, so now that I know this is good. This is good stuff. Wow. Yeah. So you've been okay. Let's kind of go a different direction here. So you've been in Flat Earth now for what, less than a year officially?
Yeah, less than a year.
Less than a year.
November. Yeah.
And you've watched a whole ton of videos and read a whole bunch of web pages. Yeah. Is there and you probably talk, I mean, it doesn't sound obviously like you're shy about talking about this with people. For you as a pilot, or in this case, a grounded pilot, but you flew for a lot of years. What was the biggest thing for you? Because everybody, I could talk to 20 different Flat Earth community members, and they'd all have a different answer to this, which is, what is the one thing that flipped in your head where you were, half asleep on the couch? It's like, holy smokes, that's it.
Was the gyroscopes. It's just the gyroscopes, because I thought, well, it cannot work on a globe.
No, can't. Because
and also the speed of sound at the equator. Those two things.
Yeah. So the spinning of the Earth, the atmosphere going along with basically the Coriolis effect. You're not adjusting the flight path for the Coriolis effect, and you guys are going from north to south a lot. Yeah. And in fact, you were saying you were flying to Johannesburg from the Netherlands?
Well, before I flew the 737, I flew the MD-11. Mm-hmm. So then we went to Kenya, not to Johannesburg. That was just an example that I gave you, but I've never been there.
But Kenya's fine. That'll work.
Yeah. So
somewhere in the middle of Africa, you guys are flying from the Netherlands, and not only did you not have to, because that's a question. In fact, I might as well ask you this, since we have a hard time asking pilots. There's a whole bunch of videos out there where people are trying to ask pilots. When you know how the gyroscope works, and you know how the curvature of the Earth works. So from a pilot standpoint, do you ever see any instruments, or do you have to set anything in the cockpit that constantly adjusts for the 8 inches per mile squared? Or every 50 miles you would have to adjust about 1,700 feet?
No, nothing.
Never. Yeah.
No, never. The only thing is that I was thinking about, but I also saw that I cannot find it anymore. That's really a pity. Mm-hmm. But we have this inertial reference system, and it has really advanced gyros, the laser ring gyros, and it has accelerometers on it, and you can when something goes wrong with that system, you can reset it and you can have the heading back.
Yeah.
And but then again, I saw this this video on YouTube that a guy asked the company, I think it was Honeywell or something,
right.
About resetting and putting the right coordinates in. And this guy said, well, it doesn't really matter. Don't put anything.
Yeah. In fact, I know that one because that was a 777 pilot. I read that one. That was me.
Okay.
Where the 777 pilot.
Okay, so I saw it with you. Yeah.
Yeah. He messaged me and he said the gyroscope compensator that's below the gyroscope is made by a particular company, and this company supplies everybody, and it's a NASA subcontractor. And he went to an airport and it broke, because pieces break every once in a while, and it broke, and they asked for he asked for a replacement before he could take off, and they said, you know what, just compensate for it manually. And just because he knew what about flat Earth, he decided to ignore that and just make note of it. And when he was flying, and he basically took a 6-hour trip, and he never had to. And yeah, he took notes of what the degree should be, but he never compensated for it. And so then he was going, okay, what does this thing actually do? If I didn't have to, I just flew 6 hours and it wasn't even working. And when he tried to, the thing that got me was when he called the company. They, pilots, as you may know, are considered very, very wonderful people in the airline industry. So they can go to airline companies. They could walk into Boeing, and Boeing is like, let's give you the tour. They wouldn't even talk to this guy. They were like, it was like very, very close-lipped about what these gyroscope compensators would even do. And so, and this is a 777 guy that really wanted to. He's still flying. But he's going, I don't know what's going on out there, but there are companies involved that they may not know exactly what's happening, but they're up to no good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you a couple of other quick questions, and then you can ask whatever you want. Which is just for the record, when you were looking out through the cockpit, did you, before you got into flat Earth, did you even think about the curve, or was it just one of those things that was in the back of your head? And then when you found out about flat Earth, did you look out the window differently?
Actually, I never thought about the curve. Never. Maybe that's strange, but I really
no.
did.
Why would you, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Now I think it's strange, but.
But then when you got into it, when you were looking out the window, did it look completely different to you? It was like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Then I saw how flat it was, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange that it never appeared to me like that.
Yeah. Couldn't see. We have a saying here, I don't know if it's the same over there, which is you couldn't see the forest for the trees. You just could not. It was like, didn't even occur to you. You looked out that window all the time for 20-something years.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you think it's flat out there? You see it's flat? It is flat. And you're like, what? No. Yeah. Couldn't be. So where do you so you're working half-time now. You're working on the ground. I don't know what it's like in the Netherlands. Are you just planning on staying with this company, who shall not be named, for until retirement? Or are you just? I mean, I don't know what your plans are. Are you going to go to, for example, the London is having a Flat Earth conference coming up in April. Are you going to?
Yeah, I went here. We had one the other day in the Netherlands.
Oh, right. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was nice because Mike Cavanaugh, you know him?
I've heard of him.
So he was there and doing his presentation on the, let's say, the path of the sun.
Nice.
In some sort of a tourist field. Because his dad, he is an astronomer.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a retired astronomer, but he has all the equipment. and he can use that, to investigate.
Nice.
So I got to ask him how his relation was with his dad, because I'm a really family kind of person. So I thought, well, how is it going to be for him, because he's such a flat earther and his father is an astronomer. So
that's got to be tricky.
How's this relationship going to these between these people? But he said, well, they agreed to disagree.
Sure.
So,
and I've seen that with other people too. Yeah, if you're into astronomy, not just if you have like a master's degree in astronomy or astrophysics, but if you're even an amateur astronomer, this is a tough pill to swallow, because they don't. It's like, look, I mean, I had a guy, he could not get out of the loop. He was going, look, I've seen the moons of Jupiter through my telescope. I go, and I give him my explanation. It's like, look, you're looking at a display system, right? And then he'd go, no, I've seen the rings of Saturn. I'm going, same argument. It's like, no, I go, dude, you can list off 20 different things. It doesn't. You're talking about the same thing, basically. You're looking at the sky and you think it's real. And you think it's this vast thing. Hey, you it sounds like your kids are old enough to kind of have an opinion on this. Do they know what?
Well, that's a really painful thing, because I'm divorced.
No, don't tell me it was divorced because of that.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was divorced already 9 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And we do co-parenting.
Okay.
And half of the time they live with my ex-husband, and half of the time they live with me.
Oh boy.
And no, it's not that. It's not that dramatic.
Well, no, the kids go back to dad, and they're going, "You're never going to believe what mom's doing."
Well, I don't know if they do that, because they're kind of smart, actually.
So they know it probably wouldn't be a good idea to upset your ex-husband.
That's true. Yeah, because they know that we try to have the best conversation possible between the two of us, in the best interest of them. And it takes a lot of effort from both sides. And they know. So they know we are totally different persons, and their father flies also. So he's a pilot also with the same company.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wait, so you see him?
No, because we try to work, in
different places.
The other shift, because he's also working part-time.
Oh, okay.
And we never like daycare, so they don't have to go. So I work when he's off. When he's off, and the other way around.
So I've heard that it's quite common, because I know there's not a lot of women that are flying, that are pilots in the airline industry, but I hear it's quite common that men and women in those positions do get married to each other. So did you meet on the job? Did you meet while you were both flying?
We met in flying school.
There you go.
So yeah.
And then what? You got married? Did you get married after flight school, or?
Well, in Holland it's not that big of a deal to get married, and actually I wasn't really looking for marriage or anything. But then my oldest son got born. And because I wanted to have children, but then this with the legal things and everything, we said, well, it's just easier to get married.
Sure.
So then we got married.
So then you did you apply for and we're not going to say what company it is, but you applied for the same company, and then, I mean, did every once in a while, literally, were you both co-pilots, or was he a pilot and you were a co-pilot?
Well, he's actually flying another aircraft. He's flying a 777.
Oh, okay, the flagships.
So,
yeah. So
yeah.
So you guys didn't run into each other in the job that much.
No, never,
Okay.
because we work opposite shifts, let's say.
Opposite shifts and somewhat different planes. So you were a 737. He was a 777. He probably started out with the 747s, though, I would imagine.
Actually, he started with a small company within our company.
Oh.
And because he got hired a little bit later than me, so it was some sort of process, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a very good company to work for. I mean, everybody is jealous if you say that you work for them, because they're just very, very good. It's a very good employer.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So I can say nothing bad about them, let's say.
No, heck, they didn't fire you technically.
No.
I mean, they just grounded
no.
you. Let me give you a quick little comparison story. There was I don't know how old you are, but you don't have to tell me. There was a story back in 1986 about a Japanese cargo pilot who flew 747 cargo planes from Japan to parts of the United States.
Yeah.
And he was pursued by some giant. This thing was apparently bigger than.
I was listening to you. To your.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So he was
Yeah.
chased, and you can look this up. It's a fascinating story. But what he made the cardinal sin was he got to the ground and he talked to some news people, some reporters, and they immediately grounded him. He never flew again. And they even put the picture they put of him in the paper was him kind of describing what this giant thing looked like. But I have no doubt that he saw it. I mean, the United States Air Force helped him try to avoid this thing, and yet the airline industry, his company, and we're not talking about a big passenger airline. We're talking about just a cargo airline. But they didn't want to hear it. It's like, yeah, we don't want you up there anymore. So
yeah.
But they didn't fire him. Yeah. But they put him on a desk, and that was it. They did not fire him.
Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do with me. But I think, I can do my job. Let's say I feel this as a calling. So I want to help out wherever I can.
That's awesome.
And also I wanted to tell my children, but they were not interested. So he said,
how old are
they're
they though?
16 and 13, and I'm 49. So
I mean, I didn't even look at conspiracies until I was 21. So
I can understand, but I said, well, I want to share this with you guys because they know I hate the school system. So
sure.
But their dad is just totally the opposite. So yeah, well, not totally the opposite, but yeah, he thinks that if you do a good job in school, you get a good job later on in life, and then whatever, the story. So, but my oldest son, he said, well, Mom, I keep it in mind that it might be, but for now, for me, it's easier to just stay with the things that they teach me in school.
Exactly.
That's what I have to reproduce. I said, yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to fight. Yeah, no, smart kid. I mean, it's tough to fight the school system. No question. Yeah. And there'll be a lot of people out there, and you've probably heard me say it, that they say, well, what does it matter? Does it really matter? I'm going, well, it doesn't matter until it's true. Meaning, you can think about it all you want. Again, I use the comparison. It's like trying to tell somebody they're adopted. You can tell somebody all day long, like, whatever, and they'd be like, it doesn't even matter if I'm adopted. I'm going, oh yeah, because here's the folder saying that you're adopted. It's the actual real thing, and they're like, okay, well, now I care. It's like, see what I mean? Yeah. You don't care until it's real. And so what? I don't want to keep you too much. I know you're calling from the Netherlands.
It's almost 12 o'clock. I was ready to go to bed.
Oh, yeah, no, it's totally
cool.
I
read your email.
I'm glad. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about the time zone difference because it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it's. What do you have any questions for me? Anything? Well, you got me. I mean, not many people get to catch me on the phone. But in your case, I was like, you know what? And I tried to, just so you know, I tried to shift this off. It's like, Jaron, if Jaron scheduled you, Jaron can talk to you. But when you email me, it's like, okay, I don't know, chances are I'm going to miss you. Plus I'm heading out to LA here for a thing pretty soon, and we may not even catch each other. So sorry, not to belabor the point. Do you have any questions for me? Anything you want to ask?
Well, what is the thing that I can do, to contribute? Because because there are already a lot of things out there, and to do again the same things that everybody else does is not very helpful. But
in your case, I can tell you exactly how you can contribute. Tell your story, like you just did to me. So when Jaron finally does track you down, tell the story, and I will pass you around. And heck, Patricia Steer would love to get you on Skype if you know who she is.
Yeah, of course.
She would love to talk to you, and get your face out there. I think it's a great story. Flat Earth pilot gets grounded. I'm sorry, pilot 737. That's the headline right there. 737 pilot gets grounded for speaking out on flat Earth. That's you've got a unique perspective there. We don't have a whole bunch of pilots that are involved, but the fact that you were involved, spoke your mind, and they did exactly what I would expect them to do. And in fact, if it was in the United States, they'd probably take it even a little further. In the United States would be like, yeah, you probably should go to another company. But Netherlands, a lot more lax from what I can tell. But no, just do what you're doing. You don't have to do anything special. I mean, everyone's got their own cast. Everyone's got their own role to play in this. And yours is just taking your career that you have had up until this point and applying it. And again, I love the fact that you want to wear a t-shirt to work, a Flat Earth t-shirt to work. That would be awesome. In fact, you know what? I will email you a link to some great shirts. The people that supply me for all the meetups, they're out of Oklahoma, over here in the United States, and they've got some great shirts. I will, in fact, as soon as I hang up with you, I will email you the link to the shirts, and you can pick. I've got a whole bunch from. I think I have one of everything they have. Everything from Flat Earth Army to Flat Earth Tour Guide to everything is Flat Earth. You'll love it. So
good. So then I have a different T-shirt for every day.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome. But I'll totally send that to you. But I can't thank you enough for reaching out. That's great.
Well, thank you for making time and hearing my story.
Happy to do it. One last question before I let you go. What took you so long? Have you been trying to hunt us down, or? Because I don't remember, your name doesn't strike as familiar.
No, I don't even have. I'm just like an old-fashioned kind of girl, or I don't think I qualify as a girl anymore. But I don't have a YouTube account or anything. I was always breaking out in sweat to set up the Skype and everything, and then I was really lucky that everything was, working. And I'm not on Skype right now, but to talk with Jaren, and I'm glad that you reached out, and the community. I'm sure we will track. We will grab what you've got going, and we will follow you as long as we can. Okay, and how should I do something then, or make myself known in the YouTube thing? Or?
You know what? Let's don't push it. If you're not natural to it right now, don't do it yet. I will turn this. I will put this. I'll turn this into a slideshow, and I will pull out those if I can find them, because you didn't say them very clearly. The name of the company you were working for, and hopefully Jaren will do a thing for you, and I will recommend your thing to Patricia. Let's get your name out there first, and then just make yourself available. That's the one piece of advice I can give you. Use your real name if you can, and
that's my real name.
And just make yourself available to people who want to ask questions, because you are in a unique position. Remember, not only do most people, 99.999% of people of the world don't get involved in a space program, but most people don't even get involved in an airline program. So an airline's the closest thing we have to the space program right now. So you have a wonderful little opinion, and I like it. Okay,
well, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, what I'll do is I'll put this together in a slideshow. Go to bed. And you'll have a link in the morning, and I'll also send you the T-shirts and links right now. It'll take me a couple hours to put together the interview.
Great, thank you very much.
Hey, you have a good
Keep up
good
the
night.
Good work. Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Day.
All right.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.